Hi.
Today we're here to finally give the full spoiler review of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. We have seen this movie 3 times now, so we hope by now you have also seen this movie.
At least once, if not 3 times. So bear in mind this is going to be a spoilery review talking about the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you want to check out our spoiler-free review, then the link is in the description down below.
Before we get into the video, I want to talk about the merchandise for this movie and how I've been obsessed with it and buying everything Beetlejuice. So first of all, I have this necklace, but I actually got this a couple of years ago from a Halloween market. I have my Beetlejuice pajama top from Pennies/Primark that I'm just wearing as an everyday top. It's really good quality, so it works well. Also, I have my Beetlejuice nails on that my friend made me. My friend is so super talented and made these Beetlejuice nails, like fully decked out Beetlejuice nails. They're 3D. They have the ghost with the most, they have Bob, they have Bob's sticker, they have a sandworm, the camera, the recently deceased Snuffy, everything.
The Book of the Disease.
It keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
But if you want to get them for yourself, then make sure to go and check out her Instagram page. I'll link it here down below in the description, and I'll also have a pop-up somewhere here that you can see. These are actually press-ons, so I'm going to be able to reuse these many times. This is my 2nd time wearing them, because I also wore them in this Beetlejuice Beetlejuice Lush unboxing video. We were gifted this amazing box by Lush and we are absolutely obsessed with the items in here. You have Bob, because there's always going to be Bob. We love Bob. Bob is the best. Justice for Bob.
It's a bath bob.
Bath Bob, you should have called it that, a bath Bob. They have Goth Juice.
Goth Juice, the most powerful hairspray known to man. Made from the tears of Robert Smith.
Goth Juice, which is a styling gel for your hair to give you that Lydia Dietz look.
We also have the Juice is Loose shower gel. Purple shower gel. Haven't used it yet, but I'm very excited to use it. It smells so good.
There is also this other Beetlejuice collab with Lush bath bomb in it, and this cool spooky Beetlejuice colour themed bubble bar.
Also, what came with this box I was very excited about, and I was like, I don't know why I'm so excited about this. I just think it's so cute. I don't know, I've just been obsessed with seeing Beetlejuice pop up everywhere. Like, I want that poster. We did get these really cool cups from the cinema, and the detail that's on this gravestone, it is just so cool. And this was only like $8.99 or something. Normally in our country we don't get cinema stuff like this, so I was very excited to see we were actually getting these. This was from Cineworld and they had like lots of different types.
So merchandising for this movie aside, let's get into our full spoiler filled detailed review of this movie.
Already at the beginning of the movie I was so excited because I had recently just told Conor the night before when we were watching the original Beetlejuice how I've noticed that all of my favourite movies, or most of my favourite movies, start with the flying over the town, like drone shot. I guess it wasn't a drone back then. So when I saw that, I just looked at Conor and I was like, I literally said to you last night how I loved that. So already I knew from that moment that they had paid attention and that they were going to do, like, I guess fan service, would you say. Something that I didn't notice the first time but I noticed it the last time was that you actually get to see the couple here, the Maitlands, and you can see them standing where they passed away, where the crash happened, and you can see them just creepily standing there. Someone also said that you can see the car as well, but the strange thing is you're flying over the town and then you get to the attic from the house, the original house, and you're like, oh cool, we're getting to see the attic, but it's actually Lydia in a studio. Kind of strange. It's hard to say. Is it the model out of that?
Yeah, I think it's the model, to be honest. The opening shot is them like shooting over the model and then going into the house as a transition into Lydia's studio.
Yeah, they are mentioned in the movie, you know.
In this movie, Lydia says that they found a loophole and their souls were able to move on. They were meant to stay on Earth, I think, for like 150 years or something like that before they got to move on to the great beyond. But she said that they found a loophole and that they moved on early. And it's just a little throwaway line to be explained their absence in the movie, but also let fans know, like, oh yeah, there's a canon reason as to why they're not here.
So yeah, like I said, you're flying over and then it's actually Lydia, not in the attic, but actually on a set of her show, which is like a ghost show. Now, Conor was like, oh, I didn't really see her going in this direction and I wasn't really a fan of it. But I understand it because she's kind of like a YouTuber in a sense. And me growing up, I was very like Lydia, you know, kind of on my own in a sense and like being on my own and, you know, ghost hunting and the supernatural and stuff like that. And here I am, a
YouTuber.
talking to people on the internet. So in a sense, what she's doing isn't so different to what I'm doing. So I can definitely see that happening. And I know that a lot of people who have interests in like movies and horror and stuff, like they would take to the internet to talk to people with similar interests if they don't find anybody, you know, that has similar interests with them.
She does acknowledge herself in the movie that she does consider herself a sellout and that that's not like what she wanted to do. Yeah. And we do find out later in the story that it was kind of like she was being manipulated into doing it when she didn't want to continue doing it. We disagree on the direction. I just feel like it was a weird way to kind of take her character, and at least she acknowledges and pokes fun at herself in the movie about it, that like her teenage self probably would have considered herself to be a sellout and not like treated her basically the exact same way her own daughter kind of treats her in this movie. But it does resolve its kinks out through the storyline, so it does sort of take the character on that journey throughout the movie, so I can live with it in that sense. So we get a general idea of what Lydia's life is like currently. She's also taking medication which helps her stop getting these like kind of visions and stuff, and her partner is trying to stop her from taking the antipsychotics so that she doesn't see ghosts, but he wants her to continue to see them so they continue making money. And at this point she's also getting weird random flashes of Beetlejuice and seeing him like throughout her life. Plot point that kickstarts the actual story and plot of the movie. Lydia gets a phone call letting her know that her father has passed away and she has to go to meet her mother and find out what happened. This brings us to where Catherine O'Hara's character is at this point in the timeline of the movie series, and also the fact that she is the absolute gem of this movie because she is immediately absolutely hilarious. Her character is super over exaggerated. All of her points from the original movie, like her character traits that were already dialed up really high in the original movie, are even played up more so in this movie, and her character is 100% hilarious. At this point we find out about Lydia's daughter as they have to go tell her what happened to her grandfather and kick off them moving back to the original location, the original house from the first movie.
So Astrid and Lydia's relationship isn't great. They don't really want to talk to each other. Like, Lydia is too busy out talking to ghosts rather than talking to her daughter. That's how Astrid sees it. Astrid also is just like, doesn't believe any of this at all, and is like, I don't believe in ghosts. Like, if you could actually talk to ghosts, then why don't you talk to my dad?
Also on that point, there are a bunch of like little things in the lore in this movie that kind of contradicts things that we found from the first movie, and this is one of the ones in particular that annoys me. There's just small little inconsistencies in it that really bothers me. We come to that in this movie in that everybody who, you know, in this movie immediately ends up in the afterlife. They're straight there. We see it happen to like several characters in this movie and they immediately end up there. Whereas in the first movie, the lore is established that anybody who passes on has to live on Earth for 150 years. So I don't understand why people are immediately in the afterlife. It's a big point in the original movie about how the Maitlands are reading through the book, finding out how they can actually get an appointment with a caseworker in the afterlife so they can talk about things. Whereas all the characters in this movie, including Lydia's father, Lydia's mother later on in the movie, and as it seems, Astrid's father, all immediately went into the afterlife after they...
Doesn't actually make sense compared to the other one, but things change, rules change.
Also at the same time that we meet Catherine O'Hara's character, we get the introduction to Monica Bellucci's character. A very, very underutilized and unfortunate character in this movie because they are a fantastic character. Their presence on screen is amazing. However, they are just not utilized to their full potential in this movie. I've also seen some people talking about recently how the people who are complaining about Monica Bellucci's character being, you know, underutilized or a pointless side story that builds up and then doesn't really lead to anything, saying that the people thinking this are actually wrong and that her character is perfectly placed because she's meant to be a misdirection throughout the movie to help the twist happen. But I disagree with that point. The movie has an antagonist inbuilt to it already. Beetlejuice. His plot is kind of set up already in the movie, in that he's trying to get back in touch with Lydia. He's haunting her in real life to try reconnect to her. We already have that going. We don't need a misdirection to another big bad in this movie. It's very obvious to most people who watch the movie. I know, for example, you were onto something in the movie anyway once you saw that they weren't showing certain characters from certain angles.
I did notice something was off in the house for Astrid's boyfriend. Astrid is cycling and cycles into a tree, and this guy is like, "Are you okay?" or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm alright," or whatever. This is not the lines, but my problem with this is that he looks down and she looks up and he looks at her and says, "Are you alright?" Like, she doesn't look like she's seeing anybody. She just hits the tree and straight away he's like, "Are you okay?" Well, why are you talking to somebody without knowing if they can see you? Because no one should be able to see you except for maybe Lydia Dietz or something.
You know that no one else can see it. It is a bit weird. So we have all our plot points set up. Beetlejuice's ex-wife has come back and she's trying to remarry him, steal his soul, something along those lines. She wants him. He's afraid of. Also introduced to Willem Dafoe's character, who is the detective, set up as this goofy cornball character who's meant to be in charge of the investigation. He was an actor in his real life. He's still an actor now, or he's a detective. It doesn't really shine through. It's just meant to be kind of weird and funny. Lydia and her mother are arranging their father's funeral, and her partner proposes to her and wants her to get married in like the next 48 hours. And Astrid has her new boyfriend, who it turns out is a ghost. This is the crux of the entire movie, and the rest of the plot plays out kind of like Monica Bellucci's character is on the hunt for Beetlejuice. Willem Dafoe's character is on the hunt for Monica Bellucci. Beetlejuice is trying to reconnect with Lydia. Astrid is trying to date a boy
and meet her father.
She finds out her boyfriend is actually a ghost, and he promises her he can help her meet her father, so she sneaks into the afterlife. Lydia has to enlist Beetlejuice's help to solve this problem, but she has to promise that she's going to marry him for real this time. And unfortunately, Catherine O'Hara's character is bitten by two snakes that she had defanged that definitely aren't venomous, but she ends up in the afterlife, so turns out she is. The rest of the plot of the movie plays out, Beetlejuice actually does help save the day, as it turns out that Astrid's boyfriend is evil and he's trying to exchange Astrid's soul for his so that he can come back to the real world. The crux of the movie is a really long musical piece of Beetlejuice trying to get Lydia to marry him, but then it turns out that the contract was null and void because Beetlejuice snuck Lydia into the afterlife, and he explodes for some reason because they say his name 3 times.
I was really sad about the plot twist on Astrid's boyfriend, just because I thought they were so cute and like that they really just got on along together and they were just meant to be together. I didn't think that was gonna mean that he was a bad ghost, and that made me love him and her even more. So I was like, oh, it's like Casper or something. And this is just so romantic and so cute. And I did not see it coming that he was going to be bad. Not at all. I thought they were so cute.
The twist was that we found out that Astrid's boyfriend was a ghost. And then you get the second twist, which is that it turns out he's also actually evil. If they had have removed Dolores' character, removed Willem Dafoe's character, I just think the movie overall would have had like a better kind of feel pacing wise, and it would have been, I guess, maybe even more devastating, when it turns out that her boyfriend's evil. Like, what if we found out early?
It was so devastating. Yeah, what do you mean?
And then we could have saved Monica Bellucci's character for the third movie. That would have been a cool movie,
I do have her amazing opening scene where she's like stapling herself together, and it's an iconic look. I do also think it was great to see the relationship of her and Beetlejuice, before he passed away, and the lore and stuff behind it, again also referencing the first movie where when he was marrying Lydia, he took out the finger with the ring on it, and he was like, don't worry about that, she means nothing to me. We're all very curious as fans, and it was always spoken about who is this mysterious woman that he was going to marry or married or whatever it was. Also, when the posters came out, I thought it was cool that people noticed that she was missing a finger.
Let's get into Willem Dafoe's character in this movie. Love him as an actor, fantastic guy, like really interesting portrayal of this character. However, his character was just a little bit annoying.
He looked like a Batman character.
Yeah, he did look like a Batman character.
And he acted like a Batman character. And I love Batman, but not for Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
It would all make sense, actually. Batman, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
It's showtime.
One thing that did upset me was seeing Lydia be controlled by a man and just not be very strong-willed. And I understand that she's been through a lot and she's trying to deal with it and she's breathing like a moose. And she's trying to do all these things to deal with it and confront her fears and stuff like that to become stronger. And it's cool to see her become stronger, you know, towards the end of the movie. But, you know, one thing that happened was that Delia said, where's the goth girl? Like, where's the goth girl? And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, like, where's the little goth girl who used to, you know, like, annoy me about everything and fight me on every single thing?
So what I was hoping would happen, and for a shout out for the goths, was that Lydia just went into a room and listened to some goth music and put a bit of eyeliner on and the iconic hat, which does come at the end, and it's just like, you know what, you're right, and then says to that man, you're not controlling me.
Let's talk about my biggest gripe with this movie overall. My absolute biggest problem, bothered me every single time we watched it, and it's honestly something that I don't think I'm ever gonna get over about this movie. How could you do that to Bob? How could you do Bob like that? How could you give us Bob and then take him away? Bob was a good friend. Bob was loyal. Bob was the only one who didn't run away. Bob was funny. He was cute. He was great. And you took him away from us in front of us, horribly emotionally. The look in his eyes, he was terrified. He was scared. His last moments, he was scared and alone. And that was emotionally devastating.
Yeah, and you can't ever bring him back. There's no way.
As you say, they establish in this movie that if that happens to you in the afterlife, if Dolores sucks your soul, then you're gone. There's no coming back.
Beetle Baby.
Beetle Baby.
A lot of people are terrified by Beetle Baby, but I love Beetle Baby. And when I saw Beetle Baby, I was like, this is hilarious. And they cut to the part of Astrid getting married. The kids behind us were like, oh, she got married. And then they were like, oh, she's pregnant. And I was like, I cannot wait to hear their reaction when they see this baby. And then the baby came out, and actually they were completely silent. They were just like, they didn't scream, they didn't laugh, they didn't say anything. I was hoping they would scream or say what the heck or something, but they were completely silent. That's how scared they were.
I don't know if the scene is like intentionally like a direct nod to Trainspotting also, with the baby like scaling the wall and then on the roof and stuff, but if it is, it's absolutely hilarious. Like, honestly, it was really, really, really funny. Beetle Baby coming back at the end as well, like for that like shock turn overall, I thought was really cool. It did leave like a weird tone for the end of the movie, like this double dream sequence thing. A lot of people were talking about how it's kind of leaving the franchise open for the third movie. If they don't go into making a third Beetlejuice movie in the near future, it'll probably annoy me a little bit more that this one just ended on such a like double dream sequence. There you go. You have no idea what's going on now, you know? As we said in our spoiler-free review, overall we both still rank this movie very, very highly. The fact that we're dissecting it this much and like nitpicking about such like little kind of things is purely because there's so little wrong with this movie. Us saying these things about it are mostly just us nitpicking it entirely, just picking it apart for the sake of, you know, dissecting it, because we're both such like massive fans of the franchise itself. Of course we're going to nitpick things like this, but overall, love the movie. It was great.
I'm not sure what many stars did I give it last time.
7.5.
I'll do 9.
I think I would give Beetlejuice an A now after watching it on 3 watches. So still overall a fantastic, very enjoyable movie.
It was like going to a fun house, like a haunted horror fun house, like with pop-ups and stuff.
And Warner Brothers Studios in Hollywood decided to bring back their Festival of Frights. Please do this, and please do invite us, please. As always, we hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Let us know your opinions on the movie down below. Have you seen it multiple times? Has your opinions changed? Do you enjoy it more now? Do you enjoy it less now? If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, as it helps us out a lot. I want to give a shout out again to all of our members over on Patreon. They help us to continue to make videos like this. If you want to help support the channel and get access to our copyright-free music library, behind the scenes blooper reels, and help support the channel, the link is in the description down below. And as always, until next time,
see you in your nightmares.